Okay, so this time we're going to be talking about functions. Well, the last tutorials was on operators, and yes, so now we're going to take it from there, and we're getting into functions. Now this is some really exciting stuff, so I don't want to talk a lot. Without further ado, I'd say let's just jump into it, and I'll explain as I go what functions are. Okay. As you can see here, I already have a document prepared for you. It's called javascript underscore lesson underscore 04.html. So, okay, basically what is a function? A function is a block of code that does something. It executes when it is called. Being called also is referred to as being invoked. So I'm just gonna type it out, and it's a function test. Okay, let me just enlarge this for you guys. Okay, so basically this is what a function or a function block looks like. So this here is what does all the work. So every function that you declare, you have to write the word function next to it and then give it a name. So in this case, the name of this function is test. And then you have parentheses. Now within your parentheses is what you also this is where you also include your argument. Well, in this example, there is no argument, and then within the curly braces, this is where you write your statement, the one which will be executed when you call the function. Okay, so in this case, we have an empty function. So what I will do is that I will make it log something, a message. Okay, so I'll say log. Now I'll say here we have made it. Okay, meaning that we have made it to this particular statement. We managed to get to this line, meaning that it executed successfully. So what I'm gonna do is now I'm gonna call it, and I'm just gonna call it just by doing this. I'm gonna write test and then parentheses and then with a semicolon at the end, and just by doing this will basically call it, and yeah, the message will be displayed on the console. So let me open this file, and so that we can have a look at what it's doing. Well, here we are. This is the message, but I'm just going to change the setup so that maybe you can see it properly. Okay, so here's our statement. Here we have made it. It has been displayed on the console. I can change it just to make sure that this is the right message. This is another log. So we're gonna go back here, and before I do anything, I'm also just gonna increase the size. Okay, well, that's the full size. Oh. Okay, and then I'm gonna refresh, and you see over here, this is another log. So this is basically what the function has done. It has been called, and it being called means that a console.log function was also executed. Just by the way, this console.log, this is also a function. So typically we've been using this a lot, but this is what a function does. But now we've created our own. So we have different kinds of functions. This one in particular does not return a value. You also have a function that returns a value. Okay. So now I'm going to create a function that returns a value. I'm going to call this function test o2, and then inside I will declare a variable, and I'll call this variable num equals to 12. Right, and then what I will do is I'll say return num. So what this function does is that it will, every time you call it, it will return this value, the value of num, which is 12. So now I'm gonna basically I'm gonna create another variable, and I say num o1 is equals to test o2. Yes, so basically I'm assigning the value that's going to be returned by this function to this variable. And after that, then I'm going to console.log the value of num01, and let's see what we get. Ah, there we go, 12. So basically that's what that does. 12 is the value that has been returned by this, but that means that it's fixed, right? every time you call test02, it will just return this value. But there's another way of controlling that. If we wanted, we could make it return any value that we want. So let's just say val, right? And then we say, okay, here we say num is equal to val. So what that's going to do is that whatever whatever we put in here, it will return that value. So now I'm going to say 25. And let's see what happens. You see, there we go. So now we've got 25. And so just to go back and explain everything, this is a function, but this function does not return a value, meaning that I could never assign a variable to it because it does not return anything. So let's say let word equal test, right? And then what I'm going to do is that then I'm going to console.log the value of word. Let's see what we get. Undefined. This is what we get, undefined. Basically because test does not return anything. So we've basically assigned word nothing, right? There's nothing. It doesn't hold anything because test does not return anything. So this is how this works. So this function, it returns a value. This one does not. So this is fun because you can create a function, but that will give you different values at different times. Okay, like for instance, like a function that, let's just say function, let's say numPlay, right? It plays with numbers. This one takes two values. It's val1, let's say val01. Okay, let's just say val1 and val2. And so what this will do is that it will return the, let's make it do like a mathematical operation. So numPlay will return the multiple of the two values that you give. So let's say result equals to val1 times val2. All right, and then we say return result. And let's see what happens. Now, okay, I'm gonna try something else. I'm gonna try to console.log this because last time something weird happened, but I just wanna see if this will happen again. If it was just me or if this is for real something that can not a number. Oh, sorry. Okay, my bad. That happened because I did not add anything there. Okay, I'll say 12 and then I'll say 20. Okay, good. So now I get 240. So what this function did is that it took 12 and then it multiplied it by 20. And hence you get this 240. So I could change it and we could say 100 and we could say, let's just say 11. Oh, okay, no. 11, yeah, let's go with that one. So now I've got 1232. So if I wanted, then I could just always assign, I'll say num equals to, yes, num play then I'll say 1, no, that's, and then 45. So if I console.log num, I will get this value. Yes, 90. So num is equals to 90. Okay, so in a nutshell, this is what a function does, and you could do pretty cool things with this. And since you learned about HTML and all of that, there are many other cool things that you could do with that. Like for instance, how could we do this? Like I'll create here, over here. Okay, and now I'm playing around with a bit of this HTML, but hey, why not? Okay, and then inside here we say this is just a test. All right. And so what I could do is I could say I could create a function that will that will always log out, or that will always return the value of what is within this p tag. So it doesn't matter every time I change it, it will just give me that value, you know, of whatever updates I've made to it. So I'll just say function p tag is equals to, I'll say let p, let's say, yeah, p tag equal to say document. Okay, this you have not learned. Dot get element by id, and then I will say, okay, first of all, okay, I need to give this an id so that I can identify it. Also text. Okay, so okay, and say, so now we say return p tag. Okay, so every time I console.log p tag the function, it will return whatever is written in here. Okay, so let's check that out. Let's see how that is working. Okay, wait, my bad. I forgot. I'll say HTML, no, inner HTML. Yes, this is what this is supposed to do. Okay, it's supposed to, when I do this, then it will catch the HTML. The last time it just basically took the tag as it is, as the object itself, but now I have to be specific of what it is that I want, the information that I want it to give back. You see, this is just a test. So now if I say I'll say this is a booby trap. This is what it's gonna log out. This is a booby trap. You see, can do many things with this. I mean, this is pretty cool. You can just do all kinds of crazy stuff. Just let your imagination go wild. This is really cool. See, it just changed. This is really cool. What we could also do is that we could basically let it return. Okay, I'll do this. Okay, okay, now I'm going to teach you something also really cool. We have a function in JavaScript, and this is called prompt. Now what this does is that it basically allows you to capture text as an input from you, the user. So I'll say prompt. I'll just call prompt, and you'll see what it does. Basically I'll say John. Okay, and yes, what this does is that whatever it is that I enter there, I can capture all that information. So for instance, I can say let input equal to prompt, right? So what that's going to do is that the input is going to capture the information that I'm going to type out on once this prompt is called out. And so I will say then log console.log input, right? So it's going to log out the input. So I'm just going to say my name is John. Okay, no, I'll say my name is Tabo. Okay, that seems more appropriate. Okay, and then I'm going to say okay. So see what happened there? It just basically console.logged the statement that I just typed in. So it captured the information that was typed in when the prompt was called, and yes, input now holds that information. So every time I'll refresh this again, I'll say my surname is Modise. Okay, that's my surname, Modise. You see, there it goes. My surname is Modise. So what I could do is that I could create a function that will also capture I'll say cap input, right? And that's the name of that function. And so this will always capture the input. So every time I call it, Or maybe I could just scrap this. I could just remove that and I'll just create that. Maybe let's remove the argument also. So basically this is just a function that will always return the value of the input that I put in. And let's say let input, so we're going to create the variable in here equal prompt, right? And so now I say return the value of input. And so then I'm gonna console.log that again. I'll say cap input. Let's see what that gives us. Whoa, sorry, I typed it wrong. Prompt. Yes, that's correct. Okay, so now this is me doing this again. Ooh. This is wait. Nope, no saving. There you go. This is me doing this again. So you see how cool this is? So ultimately, this is what a function does. A function is a block of code that executes a certain statement. Then that would be the statement that is within the curly braces. A function test. Yes, but no, this is not how I do it. Say function test. Okay, so every statement that is within these curly braces is what will be executed, and there are different kinds of functions, one that returns a value and one that does not return a value. And there's another kind of function. This is one that takes an argument and one that does not take an argument. So the one that takes an argument is good because then it helps you control the information that you receive. It can be different at different times. So whatever it is that you wanted to return to you, you will have control over that. Whereas if it does not have an argument, that will be fixed in that sense, because usually most likely the return value will always be the same. So this is one that returns a value, so it will have return val. Okay, well, this does not mean anything. It would not work, but I'm just doing this just so that you can understand what this does. Okay, so I'm just gonna right here. Okay, let me make this also a lot bigger so that maybe it's a lot more visible, and then I'm gonna just make I say this function does not return anything, and then this one I say this function returns a value, and then this one is I'll say this this function takes an argument. So this is the difference between these functions over here. So I hope that was clear. I hope that was clear enough. I explained it as best as I could. So this is a function, and what's in the curly braces is the statement that would be executed, like that, for instance. It will return value, whatever that would be, but obviously if you were to do this correctly, you would at first have to declare the variable val first. Otherwise this would be undefined. It will return undefined. And then here, this would be the argument. So this you could use as something that you could return as a value, or something that could be used by the function within the statement that it would execute. So yes, I think that should be quite clear about what functions are. So yeah, that's it for now. So take this and play around with it. I mean, as you've seen, I did quite a few cool tricks. I think you can just let your mind go wild, try out different things that you could output or that you could make your function execute. And once you're comfortable with it, then you can move on with me to the next lesson. The next lesson will be on arrays. So yeah, without further ado, well, let me just say it's been an awesome lesson. So thank you very much. Till we see each other next time. Love and peace, my brothers and sisters. I'm out. If you thought this video was good and helpful, please press that like button. For any questions or input, just remember to leave a comment. And if you want to see more videos like this, then subscribe to my channel and I'll keep more stuff coming your way.